Good morning. We are live. You are live here with me, Jennifer, in English Outside the Box. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back or welcome to your everyday English lesson this week, right here on English Outside the Box. My name is Jennifer Nascimento, and I am the teacher and the creator here at English Outside the Box, where I help you improve your everyday English skills. The lessons that you can learn right here on this YouTube channel with me, these live lessons that you're participating in right now are going to help you live more comfortably, more confidently, and more naturally in English in your daily life. That is what everyday English skills are. So if you are just joining, welcome. If you are a repeat watcher, someone who comes and learns with me every week, welcome back. I see you in the chat. Hello, hello. So today's topic came from a student question. I had a student message me asking, Jennifer, I don't understand why I always hear, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Isn't the verb have a stative verb? Isn't it a non-action verb? Why is the verb have in the ing form? Having. Thanks for having me. My student was quite confused because she learned that have shouldn't be in the ing form. It shouldn't be having because it's a non-action or a stative verb. And she was half correct because have is a non-action verb. There is a meaning that's a non-action verb. However, did you know that have has over 20 meanings? The Learner's Dictionary, my favorite online dictionary for you, for an English learner, is learnersdictionary.com. And learnersdictionary.com has, I believe, 24 different meanings of have. Some of those are stative, non-action verbs, and others are examples of regular action verbs that can be in the ing form. So if you are watching live, this is your opportunity to participate, to practice English, and best of all, to get some feedback. So I want you to try to write examples using have in the ing form. I want you to think about how in English we use have in the ing form and what the meaning is, what it means when we use this form. So if you're watching live, then I definitely want you to participate, write some sentences in the chat, and try to tell me what it means. So, and then we'll get into them and I'll read some more examples as well. All right, let me just get focused here. All right. So getting into an example and trying to always teach you with some context. If you've watched a couple of live lessons before, you might notice my background has changed again. That's because I'm having a really hard time deciding where my office should be. I'm having a really hard time deciding where my office should be. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time. In this example, I'm having a hard time is grammatically perfect. This sentence is okay, and it has have in the ing form. I'm having a hard time. And this is an example where we use have like experience. Well, we are using have, and a synonym in this example could be experience. I'm experiencing a hard time. I'm going through a hard time. Now, both of these this example and all of these verbs, having a hard time, going through a hard time, experiencing a hard time, all of these are verbs in the ing form because it's an action that's in progress. It's an action that's happening right now. And that is why we have it in the ing form. So I'm having a hard time deciding where my office should be. And I think I've decided on this room. Now I just have to work on the background again. So we can use have like the verb experience. You might hear people say, I'm having so much fun. And right now, I'm having so much fun teaching you this lesson. I hope you're having fun learning with me. We can have fun. We can have a good time. We can experience fun. We can experience a good time. So the first other meaning of have we're learning today is to experience something. And we can use have in that way in the ing form. Popping into the chat, I'm having fun. Michael, yes, you've got it. Rogerio Silva, I'm having some breakfast today. Yes. What are you having for breakfast? What are you having for dinner tonight? Right now, or before this class, I was having some oatmeal and having coffee. That was what my breakfast was. So another meaning of have that we are reviewing today is like eat. We can use have like eat, and we can have the verb in the ing form. So I was eating oatmeal. I was having oatmeal. Rogerio says, I'm having some breakfast, which would be similar to I'm eating some breakfast. So we can use have in the ing form when a synonym is to eat. Or to drink. I'm having a coffee. I'm having some oatmeal. What are you having for dinner? What are you having for lunch? So we can use have for eat. Another way we can use have in the ing form is when we are accepting an offer and telling someone what we would like. So imagine this situation. You go to someone's house and someone says, can I get you a drink? Would you like something to drink? Would you like something to eat? Would you like a piece of cake? And they might ask you, they might offer you something. You can respond with have. You can respond with have. Going on with another chat. Thank you for having us. Okay. So Nasser says, thank you for having us. And in this example was the exact question my student had asked me. Why do I always hear, thank you for having us? So in this type of way, you can think of it like accepting an invitation. So somebody invites you somewhere, you accept that invitation, and then you say, thank you for having me. The synonym, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me would be that similar sentence using a synonym. So we can use have like an invitation, accepting an invitation and thanking someone for an invitation. So you'll hear this on talk shows. If you watch talk shows in English, if you listen to the radio and you listen to guests and interview invitations, thank you for having me on your show. Thank you for having me here. Nasser, thank you for having us is a good example. So going on, we can also use have when we talk about giving birth. So on Saturday, I posted a tribute to my son, and I taught ways to say I'm pregnant. Now, I am not pregnant now. I already had my baby. I already had my baby. So in this situation, I obviously used have in the past tense because I already gave birth to my son. My son is already here. So because we're talking about have in the ing and other meanings of have, we can use have to talk about giving birth as well. So I won't say the exact date, in September last year, on my son's birthday, the day that he was born, I was so excited, obviously, and I was texting my friends, I'm having the baby. I'm having the baby now. So I'm having the baby could say I'm basically giving birth, or I was getting ready to give birth. You can also use this to say that you are expecting to give birth. So when your stomach gets a little big and you start to show a little bit of belly and somebody says, Jennifer, you're looking like you put on some weight. I could say, I'm having a baby. I'm pregnant. So have and having can also be used a lot related to babies, saying that you are giving birth, or even a way to say that you are pregnant. We're having a baby. We're having twins. And that could mean you are pregnant and you are expecting to have some twins. So Adriana asked a question using have, but you use the question, the present perfect. Haven't you decided yet? I am a perfectionist. I'm having a hard time deciding the room because yes, I am a perfectionist. Okay, so another way we can use have and use have in the ing is when we want to allow something or when we want to not allow something. And so we often use this negatively. For example, saying, I'm not going to have that at my house. I'm not having any of that. For example, drugs. I'm not having drugs at my house ever. I am not having drugs. I am not allowing drugs. Drugs are not allowed. I am not having that here. So we can use have as a way to say allow, often used negatively, saying when we do not allow something. When we do not allow something. So these are some of the most common alternative meanings of have. Again, the Learner's Dictionary has over 22 definitions, and that does not include phrasal verbs, idioms, and other expressions. So we want this everyday English lesson to be something that you can really, really learn a lot from. And what I tell my students all the time, when you sit down to learn something, you always should have a goal with everything that you're doing in English, with every video you watch, with every lesson you do, with every post you read. Think about a goal that you want to achieve with that lesson. With this lesson, your goal is to learn other meanings of have, to learn other meanings of have. So your goal this lesson could be to expand your vocabulary, to sound more natural, to use different meanings for words, I said expand vocabulary. So when you have a goal, you want to make sure it's realistic to obtain. So because we're focusing on this vocabulary lesson today, I'm not going to teach you 25 new meanings because that would be really, really hard to learn, to practice, to remember, and to use. So we're going to stay with the examples that we've talked about today and hopefully get a lot of practice with these examples so you can remember them for your next English conversation. So the only way that you can learn new English, learn new vocabulary, and to remember it for later is to use it, is to practice it, and to try to think about it in your own life. Apply it to your life. How can you use these? In which English situations, settings, or types of conversations can you use some of the vocabulary that we learned today? So this is practice makes perfect. Applying what we've learned and practicing what we're learning here. So Adrian, I had no idea how many meanings a verb have could have. Yes, so as we mentioned, as a review, before we get into some practice, have has over 20 meanings. So let's review what we learned today, going over some other examples, and maybe I'll ask some questions for you to begin thinking about how you can use have in your own situations. If you're watching live, this is the opportunity to write your own sentences, to get some feedback, and to practice with me live. That's why you should come live. And if you're watching the replay, comment your own sentences below. Definitely try to use what we're learning today, okay? So let's go back. The first example we used, have, especially have as the ing, as when we talk about experience. You can use the synonym of I am experiencing something. I'm having so much fun today. I was having a great time when I went sailing on Sunday. I'm having a hard time deciding what room I should have my office be. I'm having a hard time. I'm having a great time. Have as in experience. Whoa, have as in experience. Let me have a drink really fast. I'm having coffee. The next way we can use have is for eating or for drinking. I was having coffee. I am having lasagna for dinner tonight. What are you having for dinner? What are you having for lunch? What are you eating? What are you drinking? We also talked about have when you are accepting an offer. So if someone says, would you like something to eat? Would you like something to drink? Or when a waiter comes to your table and says, what would you like or what can I get you? You often use the verb have. I'll have a water, thank you. I'll have, yes, I'll have a piece of cake. So when you're accepting an offer, yes, I would love to have a drink. I'll have a water. Yes, I'd love a piece of cake. I'll have 2 pieces. Or if you're at a restaurant, you often will look at a menu and say, I'm having the lasagna. And that's like saying I'm ordering or I'm eating. So when you're accepting an offer, you often use the verb have. Moving down the list, we talked about accepting an invitation, which was what my student had asked and what an example in the chat was. So we say, thank you for inviting me. We can exchange. We could use having instead of inviting. Thank you for having me over for dinner. Thank you for having me on your show. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me. So we can use have as a way to thank or accept an invitation. I'm having my back to them. We don't want to use this example, Michael. I'm having my back to them isn't an example where we can use the ing. This expression sounds a little unnatural. I turned my back to them. Maybe I turned my back to them is what you could say in this situation. My back is turned to them. I have my back to them. So in this case, we don't want to use have in the ing form. It sounds unnatural, and it's not how we're going to use that expression. Adriana, perfect example. Moving on, birth. Yes, birth. We can use have talking about giving birth to a child. We can also use it to talk about ways to say I'm pregnant. I'm having a baby. I'm having twins. Means I am expecting twins. I'm expecting a baby because I'm pregnant. I'm not. Or we use it to actually talk about giving birth. I'm having my baby today. I'm in labor. I'm having my baby. So talking about the birth actually starting. And then we also use it to talk about allowing, often used negatively for not allowing something. When you don't allow something. I do not allow drugs at my house. I am not having drugs at my party. I'm not having people spend the night here. Everyone needs to go home. I am not having children at this wedding because it's a kid-free event. I'm not having children at the wedding. Children are not allowed. I'm not having children at the wedding. So we use have. Another way to say allow. Eduardo says you're having twins. No, remember, I am not pregnant. I am not pregnant. I have already had my baby. We're celebrating his first birthday soon. And so Saturday's lesson was all about a tribute, walking down memory lane, just remembering being pregnant and talking about ways to say you're pregnant. I'm not pregnant. And then we're talking about the verb have and other meanings of have today, and talking about having babies and being pregnant is another way. So don't get excited, Eduardo. All right, everybody. So practice makes perfect. So you are going to want to try to utilize these in your own situation. You want to try to practice this and apply it to your own life so you remember exactly how to use this. So perhaps you can answer some of these questions. I also encourage you to write your own comments below this video, on my blog post, or in your own notebook, or however you study English best. Maybe you prefer to write with your hand and a piece of paper and not type, so you need to do whatever works for you. Remember that this video replay and all of the lesson notes are on my blog and on my website. And if you go to my website, EnglishOutsideTheBox.com, on the top you'll see free lessons, blog lessons. There you can review hundreds and hundreds of English lessons. And as well, you can enjoy the lesson notes for today's video. This live YouTube lesson is all about you practicing your listening skills, connecting with a native speaker, and practicing what you're learning. You can review the video and read the lessons to double check your comprehension on my website. So I'll include a link around here if you're watching the replay, but you can go to EnglishOutsideTheBox.com/blog or click on free blog lessons to review this lesson and review the questions we're about to ask for this practice makes perfect exercise. All right. Popping into the chat, Eduardo, I'm not having alcoholic beverages in my house. Perfect. You're not allowing that. What an amazing class we're having. We're having a great class. Yes, Adriana. Perfect. We're experiencing a great class, right? So practice makes perfect. Think about answering these questions on your own so you can start applying the vocabulary to you. When's the last time you said you were having a good time? When's the last time you said you were having a good time? So you can answer this question by saying, I said I was having a great time last Sunday when I was on a sailboat in the San Diego Bay. And that's true. If you saw my Instagram story, you saw some of those amazing pictures. So answering the question using have and using the new meaning of have. So practice number 1, when was the last time you said I was having a good time? So that's have for experience. Have for eat. What time are you having lunch today? What are you having for dinner tonight? Invitation. When was the last time you said, thank you for having me? So when was the last time you were invited to somebody else's house, and you said, thank you for having me? Are you having a baby soon? Are you pregnant? Are you having a baby soon? What is something you will not be having at your house this weekend? What is something that you will not allow at your house this weekend? What are you not having at your house this weekend? Remember, have is in allow. What was it? Oh, accepting offer and ordering something. So what's the last thing you ordered at a restaurant? You can use the past tense of had in this situation, or you can say, the last time I was at a restaurant, I said, and then use quotes. I'm having the lasagna. So you can try to practice these in a variety of ways, using different grammatical structures, using quotes in direct speech, and practice using your English in a variety of ways. Don't just write, no, I'm not having a baby. I have a good time. I, verb, object, subject, verb, object. So try to vary your sentences by using different grammatical structures to practice. So if you practice restating the questions that we reviewed in this practice makes perfect section, you can get some additional practice that way. So we are about to wrap up this lesson. Even though I'm having so much fun with you here, it's time for you to start practicing, review the lesson, watch the video again, and review some lesson notes. So I have to wrap this up. We have to finish this lesson, but if you're watching live and you have a question or you want to use have in your own example, now is the time to do it. So as we're wrapping up this lesson, I'm going to give a few more minutes to anyone watching live to get some feedback. And yes, so now's the time to do it. So there's a delay in the video. So I'm gonna delay it a little longer because we have people watching from all around the world that need practice. So again, if you want to practice, now is the time to do it. Write your sentence, write your question. So we have Kenlish. I'm having a good lesson. Awesome. I had dinner recently. I'm from India. What were you having for dinner? I had guests last week. We didn't have alcohol because my friend is having a baby very soon, Adriana. So you said, I'm not having alcohol here because my friend is having a baby. I've just had lunch. This is Rafael. I've just had lunch and I'm having a good time because I'm on vacation. That's the best. Yes, I'm on vacation is always a good time. I'm having a good time because I'm on vacation. Rafael, where are you on vacation? Thank you, Nasser. You are so welcome. So those were some of the sentences in the live chat. If you have questions, this is the time to join. So if you joined this lesson late or this is your first time, remember, I teach these everyday English lessons to help you improve your everyday skills right here on English Outside the Box on this YouTube channel every week. And it's at this same time. So it's easy for you to remember, it's easier for you to schedule in your day, and it's easy for you to come and participate. So if you want to join this next lesson, then make sure you write it on your calendar or you subscribe to this channel if you are not already. You can hit subscribe. Next to subscribe, there should be a little bell. When you click that bell, you get an email notification when I'm live. So that means you know when I'm live. Maybe I'll do a surprise lesson and you want to be here. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you know. I have a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. Eduardo, I have a feeling. We don't really say I'm having a feeling. I have a feeling. I have a feeling. And that's like that possession or ownership where we don't use have in the ing form. The notification icon, that is correct. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap this up. If there are, if you were watching this lesson not live, if you're watching the replay, you can still write your own practice sentences, and I will do my very best to come back and try to provide some feedback and to give you some corrections if I can. Come join me live every week for these everyday English lessons. And if you loved this experience with learning with me and you know your English needs even more support, I have a variety of more premium, more advanced, and more focused and specialized English lessons. So if you want to learn even more with me outside of YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, and you want an online course, a training program, or to increase your fluency, then you definitely want to check out some of the links in the description of this video, or head over to my website and click Learn English. I have a pronunciation course for Portuguese speakers, a monthly fluency training program, and various ways to improve your fluency. Something that you want, let me know, and we can connect to help you learn English together. And we're going to wrap it up. I had such a great time. I hope you had a great time. We're going to be having a great time together next week. Enjoy your Tuesday. Enjoy your week, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks for studying with me, and happy studying.